La 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 la.
Hello there. Well, things are changing and changing fast. Epping Council have won their court bid to stop the Bell Hotel being used as an asylum hotel. The rapidity of change will, I think, startle all and put the woke lefties on full meltdown alert. Now, this is according to The Guardian. Epping Council wins High Court bid to stop hotel housing asylum seekers. Epping District Council had cited disruption and safety concerns, as well as alleged breach of planning law. But it's not just there. They do go on to say the following, and this is the bit that sort of makes me sort of laugh a bit, because they had a dig at the concerned locals, many of whom are terrified that their children could get hurt, because what they said was the following. A hotel housing asylum seekers that has attracted repeated violent far-right demonstrations has been ordered closed down by a High Court judge. Mr Justice Eyre granted an urgent request for an interim injunction against the owners of the Bell Hotel in Epping, Essex, after hearing the local council's complaints that they were breaching planning law by changing the site's use. So there you go, Richard. It's all the fault of the far right there, as usual.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the planning laws being overridden. Nothing to do with that. Where asylum seekers are concerned, we just do anything we like. No planning laws needed, nothing. You just do as you're told, don't you? Yes.
Yeah. This is a fantastic news. I think I grew an extra 2 inches after that. That was so good. Yes. Anyway, yes, the victory. This is a High Court has actually backed Epping Council, which is an amazing.
Yes.
This is a victory for the people of Epping and the victory for the people of the United Kingdom, I hasten to add, because this sets a precedent, I'm sure. Other councils across the country will be probably yielding to the pressure of protesters. And many of them probably want to. Of course, it depends if it's a Labour council or run by independents of a certain demographic. That's an entirely different thing altogether. But just wow. If you take a look at the owners, they must be very upset. It's owned by Somani Hotels Limited. Family. I think it's a family hotel where you've got... I do have it here. I just had a look on Company's House. The two officers there, Somani. Hassan Ali, Kamali, Ali Bahai Somani, and also Nilfu Hassan Somani are the owners, apparently. If this is the correct one. They might not be, and I might be completely wrong. And if I am, I do apologise to the gentlemen's names I've just mentioned there. But that's what I'm just
wouldn't
reading.
recognise their names the way you said it.
All right.
Yes.
Jeff, all right. Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I had a go.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever they say about the local concerns, the judge has issued a temporary injunction giving the hotel owners until 4 p.m. on the 12th of September, less than a month away, to shut down their asylum operations and remove all asylum seekers from the premises. But they will no doubt appeal that decision. And 12th of September, the day before Tommy Robinson's Great Free Speech Festival. Now, the BBC said the following. Asylum seekers are due to be removed from an Essex hotel after council was granted a temporary High Court injunction blocking them from being housed there. The injunction was sought by Epping Forest District Council to stop migrants being placed at the Bell Hotel in Epping, which is owned by Somani Hotels Limited. There you go. So that just sorts that out, doesn't it? And now the Home Office. The Home Office tried to intervene, didn't they, Richard? The Home Office, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, tried to intervene and derail the application in order to ensure the hotel remained on the asylum seekers accommodation list. And here's what the Independent said about that. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper has made a last-ditched attempt to halt a bid in the High Court to remove asylum seekers from a protest-hit migrant hotel. In a novel move, Ms. Cooper asked the judge for permission to intervene in Epping Forest District Council's bid for a temporary injunction blocking asylum seekers from being housed at the Bell Hotel in Epping, Essex. Now, interestingly, this is what one of the lawyers concerned said. And let's just read that one out. If I remove that one. Edward Brown KC for the Home Office said that shortage of asylum accommodation is acute. And if Epping's bid was successful, there could be similar applications made elsewhere, aggravating the pressures on the asylum estate. So there you have it. They're getting worried about this one. Yvette Cooper must be really worried if she had to intervene herself or get the Home Office to intervene in a novel application. And now we have a thing called an asylum estate. It makes it all sound so permanent, doesn't it? And that's the plan as far as I'm concerned. A permanent inbound red carpet. What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, where are they going to go? We know where they're going to go now. If they shut the hotel, where are they going to go? Well, they're going to be ferried off to another hotel, but it's going to be whack-a-mole then for being played, because councils are then going to object, appeal to the High Court, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to be moved on. So where are they going to go? Well, they're going to start buying up houses. We got lots of houses at the moment up for sale. So expect these people to come into communities near you very soon. Got a house for sale near you? Oh dear, indeed. So that's what to expect. And I think we know where that's going to end up if that happens. I think we know. And to be honest with you, there's only one course of action that this government can take now to prevent full societal collapse, I would say, because people are effing boiling at boiling point. They are fuming, okay? And the only course of action is to remove those people who have entered this country illegally. We don't know who they are. We don't know properly where they've come from. They've disposed of their passports, many of them. And it's time to repatriate them to somewhere else. Now, Jeff, I think, to be honest with you, if we don't know where they come from, South Georgia sounds like the best bet to me. It does. We've spoken about this before, but South Georgia, absolutely. You can stay on, United Kingdom territories and overseas territory. However, it might be a little bit chillier down there. We'll put tents up for you down there, and you can have a lovely time. Enjoy your stay. And that's it.
Yeah, it's going to get to a very difficult situation for this government, because they are going to try and move these people into proper accommodation. They're not going, all this talk about camps, all the rest of it. Nope, they're going to be looking for buying up houses all over the place, buying up blocks of flats even, I would reckon. That's what they'll be doing next. And they'll keep it all as secret as they can. They do not want you knowing what's going on. And the very fact that that lawyer said, let's go back and see what he said again. And I'll just reiterate exactly what he said. Edward Brown, KC for the Home Office, said that shortage of asylum accommodation is acute. Acute. That means there's not much left, if any. So what that's actually telling us is that there are so many that we cannot possibly keep up. And they say they're shutting down hotels, but if they're shutting down hotels, they must be buying stuff elsewhere. They really must be. And they think we're all silly. So I think the British people are going to get to the end of their tether with all of this. These are tens of thousands plus coming in every single year. And we are meant to be somehow super tolerant. And we're meant to allow ourselves to be walked over. And I don't know whether you know, we did a live stream earlier about all the flags that that were put out, and all the painting that was done on the roundabouts. They were put a big red cross on there to look like an England flag. Well, the council were out this morning, clearing it all up, repainting everything, covering it all up, taking all the flags down. They can't get rid of rubbish in their councils, but they can do that sort of thing. And they're using their full council workforce to do this. Just shows you how anti-UK and anti-British some of these people are. So, yeah, I'm just getting a little bit angry with with all of this. And I'm really glad that one hotel has been shut down, even temporarily. Got a judge's order. Do you think that would have happened a month ago, let alone a year ago, that they'd have got an injunction against this is an injunction,
yes,
not against the Home Office or the council or the government. This is an injunction against the actual owners themselves. Because I don't think anyone told them they probably needed planning permission to get this done. They thought, oh, the Home Office has said it's got to happen. Bang, it gets done. And no, you've got to follow the right rules. Yeah. If it was someone else, who said they wanted to just use it as a hotel, they probably wouldn't get planning permission and wouldn't be able to use it. But no, when it comes to this sort of thing, it's just two-tier across the board, isn't it? Two-tier again. Don't need planning permission. It takes people to... The council couldn't stop it because there was no planning permission. It took a court to do it. What a load of rubbish, two-tier. That's all it is. And I like this one.
Indeed.
Paxo32. Cooper got 2 fingers, love it. Yeah, well, there you go. So, great news.
There's more to this. There's more to this. Don't forget.
Oh, is there?
Cooper. Yes, Yvette Cooper herself clearly had no problem with migrants walking around, people who we don't know who they are, after we know that 2 of them had been arrested for certain offences. She was quite happy for migrants from that hotel to walk around close to a school. She's quite clearly happy with that. Thank you, Yvette Cooper.
Yeah.
Says a lot.
Well, the thing is that the hard left, the lefties and the woke believe that some collateral damage at this stage will be worth it in 100, 200 years' time when everybody's got over all of this. That's what they think. They just think, bit of colour, for the sake of diversity. How many times do we have to hear this? Yeah.
I don't care about diversity. You can shove diversity where the sun don't shine, as far as I'm concerned. I believe in a meritocracy in society, and that's not just for jobs. I'm talking about a society should be pushing forward the right things. I've got to be careful what I say. The right things.
Yeah. Now, as Steve 64464 says, I'm sure such a hotel will remain blacklisted with shame for many years for their betrayal of the British people. Now, that is a thing. Can you imagine if they start shutting down the hotels as asylum centres? The first thing that the hotel owners will want to do is get it back into profit making from ordinary hotel business. Yep. Now, they will then have to hire people, presumably the locals that they fired before they took it on as an asylum seeker hotel. Yep. So, and they'll want people to go and visit. So they might find themselves being forced to sell in the end, to change ownership in order to get the thing back up and running.
Not necessarily, Jeff.
Yeah.
They could convert it into flats.
Well, actually, they could convert it into flats and then sell it to the government for huge prices. Housing.
That's what. Yeah, I'm not trying to give them ideas. I'm sure, as if they hadn't already thought of it.
Yeah. Well, I think if they thought they could do that, they would have done. But then the council would have to allow planning permission. But then the Home Office would probably wade in, and because the Home Office, is it the Home Office? One of the government departments has the ability just to run roughshod over planning permission if they want to.
Yes.
So that's probably what's going to happen in the next month here. They'll just run over it. But it'll be a big indicator for us, about where the government stands and where all of these people stand. and it's definitely not on our side. So, yeah. Because they've got to go to the next... When's the next WEF conference in Davos? I mean, when they go to Davos, they've got to be able to go along there and say, we've got more hotels full of migrants than you have, so that makes us better. We're more humane. We're better than you are. That's the sort of thing they get up to, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, it's virtue signal all the way. That's what this is.
Yeah.
It's just one big cycle of virtue signaling. And it's pretty damn hideous, to be honest with you, Jeff. It makes me sick.
Yeah. Yes. One of the ideas that came out, just to go back to the St. George's flag thing, one way that the St. George's flag could actually be used for great benefit to drivers is painting the St. George's flag in the potholes. And I've seen some pictures of the idea where you've got a pothole with St. George's flag in it. And the first thing the council will have to do is come along to repair the pothole, won't they? So that would be a good idea, although some of these roads are too busy to do that. If you go out and try to start painting something in the middle of the road, you'll probably be run over. But, yeah.
But however way we frame this, to be honest with you, Jeff, this is a victory. This is a victory.
Yeah.
And that's it, And I am sure there will be those migrants in that hotel will all of a sudden feel, oh, perhaps we're not as welcome here as we were led to believe by the people smugglers who charmed us across the channel. And I mean, to be honest, no, the people smugglers didn't charm them across the channel. It was Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson prior to that. Don't forget them. Yep. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with this.
And
this is their fault.
And all their ministers. And their ministers.
Yes.
And the Westminster bubble. Yes. And all the House of Lords. They all want them over here. It's all part of their... They sit in their big Westminster bubble, look down on the rest of us and just say, well, go away. They're not interested in us. Someone says, is this a good thing or a bad thing? At least you know where they are if they're in the hotels. If they're now living in nice new houses next door to us, and this is a very good point. But
that is an excellent point.
As Richard says, if they're down, if the ones that we're unsure of, or the ones that we want to move out, and we have no documentation, are down in St. George's Island, then
St. George,
we don't have to worry, do we?
Yeah.
So
that's the best option.
Yes. Oh, someone says strike. Yeah. It's. I'm not sure we could go on strike. They'd still feed them and house them and all the rest of it. The rest of us will be the ones suffering from our own strike. The best thing to do is get rid of them at the next available opportunity, at the next available democratic election. Just ditch them and their councils, because we've got council elections coming up in May. I know that's a while away, but that's another hammer you can use. Bang them on the head and keep on going that way. Just keep on and on and on.
Well, we have the Welsh council elections next year, so that'll be, Yeah,
that would be big. Why don't they just put them in hotels but place security around it, says Kevin Heath, and not let them freely wander? Probably find that's against someone's human rights or something. Or it's just cheaper to let them... Well, actually, we know that they like them to service the local economy on their bikes, don't we? Mm. That's something we could stop doing. Just stop ordering stuff over the net. Food deliverers and stuff. Just stop it.
Yeah.
And, we can't do that. I'm too busy. I come home at night and I want me whatever it is, Roo thing. Yeah, but that's what fuels all this sort of thing. Yeah. This is a good point. Very good point from Wayne. The Refugees Welcome Brigade will probably be bussed up to stop them from leaving the hotel. Yes, that actually, because do you remember when the police turned up with a bus to take some out of one hotel and to take them down to the Bibby Stockholm? And the whole loads of them turned up, surrounded the bus, put electric bikes under the tyres so that it couldn't be moved without causing some sort of major fallout from electricity or something. You know what these batteries are like. And they They stopped the move, just totally stopped it. Nothing was ever done against them. But this time, I think the locals would probably be there first to ensure that they weren't blocked. Yeah, but if they've got until September, did I say whatever the date was, 4 p.m. On September the 12th, that's still, it's not that far away. But as I said, they're bound to appeal this. The money-making train on all of this is huge, absolutely stonking. I've seen some of the figures are banding about the Twitter about this particular hotel, and they're making a nice little profit out of it, just by handing the thing over to the taxpayer to fund, and look after. It's just.
Well, landlords as well have been offered. Was it? I think it's 5 years rent guaranteed, and so many advantages as well. Just so that to house these people who have entered this country illegally, mostly young males, and I find that quite distressing. Really, I just keep thinking. Well, I know we going over old ground, but where are the women and children? Maybe to have a bit of a different view in this if it was women and children included in the mix. But
there aren't many of those. Not yet, but once they got here and got their house, they follow.
No, there aren't. No, I don't think half of these men have got wives and children behind them. I really don't.
But they have fathers, mothers, and aunts that all need looking after.
Yeah. Oh, of course they do. They do. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Yam's Physical Catalogue of Media. 2 questions. 1, who's worse dictator, Starmer or Tony the Blair Witch Project? 2, if they're out of hotels and placed in houses, how do we protest? That makes it very difficult because they can just hide it.
Very good question.
No one will ever know. They will never know. We'll never know. The thing is, though, that across the board in this country, this 1.5 million, is it in 5 years, thing of building houses that our wonderful Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, has said she will do, is well behind the curve. And also Sadiq Khan's own plans for house building in London are well behind the curve. That's why they're now looking at the green belt to put loads of houses there. But at the moment, with the economy going down the tubes, who is going to be able to afford to buy those houses? And if there's no one to buy them, guess what house builders do? They don't build. There's no point in expending money on houses that people, A, can't afford and people won't move into. And the government will have fewer taxpayers because people are beginning to shed work and all the rest of it. So the tax take is going to go down. And that means that the only last resort they've got is mass borrowing and mass taxes on houses, which is one of the things they're looking at. Now, the good thing about for them of taxing houses is it might cause people in £500,000 houses to downsize, and then maybe the house prices of the bigger houses have fallen, and maybe they can buy a whole ream of those up on the taxpayer to put large families in.
Or houses of multiple occupation, yes. This is the way it's going. The people of this country have been completely, totally shafted. If you've worked for this country and you've believed in Great Britain and and England and Scotland, Wales, whatever, Northern Ireland, you must be feeling very, very depressed right now. Like me and Jeff are, we're extremely depressed. We're very, very sad individuals. Mind you, we do try and cheer you ladies and gentlemen up a little bit, if possible, because we can't let it get to us. We need to remain optimistic about the future.
Yeah. As Matt King says, your £1 million house will be worth 100,000. Yeah, you guessed it. The government will then buy it. Yeah, it's got to the stage where
property market.
People, but that's what they want to do, isn't it? Crash the property market.
They'll crash the property market, and you, incidentally, if you have a house that you've bought with a mortgage, you will find yourself in Mr. Negative Equity situation. And
underwater,
yes, and then there's
as the Americans say.
underwater, and there could even be margin calls. Honestly, how much more can the people that's going? It's gonna pop, Jeff. It's gonna pop.
But it's all down to this relentless program of bringing people into the country. This is not an accident. This doesn't happen by accident. It's being done legally, illegally, and with the help of our government, with Border Force, and with the help of charities, RNLI for one. Then there's all the NGOs and the other charities who operate on the beaches of France and the French establishment. This is a massive industry, and a lot of people are getting very, very, very rich out of this. We need a completely new government, and we need a government that is not going to dress this up and just change a few things and not put forward a big plan for real reform. I'm not talking about Nigel Farage's reform. We need something bigger than that. This is going to take a massive, massive change to get this country turned round. We're on the verge of becoming, I don't know, a third world whatever hole. We're there. We're approaching that. No one can convince me otherwise.
Yeah,
you just have to look around at these places, and you can see it, and it's building and building. They can't even clear the rubbish in Birmingham. And that's
what we need is
a
a large, gigantic effing audit. We need an audit, right, of all the people who are profiting from this. Everything that's profiting from this, from basically the destruction of the United Kingdom. We need to know who's making money out of this and who's making the big bucks. Just so we know, nothing to be done. You can't do anything about it, but just so we know, just what's in our minds. I can tell you now, I bet there's a few of the celebrities out there who are pushing for, refugees, welcome here, refugees, welcome here. I bet a few of them are profiting as well, indirectly, of course.
Yes. And Afina755 says, thank you very much. Random question. I've been alive for 24 years and all the governments have not been great. Have there been any government were they good in both of our lifetimes? Was there any government that was good in both our lifetimes? I would say that it's probably going back just after the Second World War, when we were rebuilding the country. That's when we had to seriously rebuild the country the last time. And successive governments believed in the UK. And we went through the Cold War, expended lots of money on trying to defend the nation and making sure we were defended and all the rest of it. It all began to fall apart. I don't know. Sometime sort of when? 80s, 90s? It really just began to go backwards. I think we just got weak. We got weak and woke, and we allowed the left to just take over everything, and we thought, oh, right, then we'll just be nice to each other. And now it's all coming back to haunt us. It's coming back to bite us in the bum. We should have, good times make weak men make bad times make strong men, and strong men make good times, but then good time, you get the idea. It goes on and on all the way through.
Looking at that, I would say, I've got to say, I think the rot really set in after Thatcher left, and I'm not a fan of Thatcher's either. I'm not. But the real rot set in terms of this country being dismantled, our culture being dismantled. I mean, what was his name? Oh, good grief! The former Chancellor who replaced Margaret Thatcher. What's his name? I can see him now on spitting image. My brain's gone dead. Good grief! Yeah. Oh, yes. What's his face? He was the Chancellor. It's gone.
Yes, the grey man.
Yeah, the grey man. Anyway, he was an absolute arse. Yeah.
John.
Oh, yes. Go on.
Major, yeah.
John Major. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely tired today. Anyway, it was around then I think that I noticed, I was only young, but just everything just did start to change in terms of the mood of the nation. And then Blair came in. There was a bit of optimism when Blair came in, and to live through a lot of the Blair years was quite interesting. We didn't see the impact of the Blair years so much, other than the Iraq War, of course. But culturally in the United Kingdom, we didn't see it quite as prevalent as what came after. I mean, what came after Blair, the Brown years, things were started. It wasn't very long. It was the Brown year, I think it was. Didn't look too great. And then Cameron, and then Theresa May. Look, all of it. So the answer is, I don't think we've had a very good run of it for a long time. And if anything, I would agree with you, Jeff. I'd go back to the end of the Second World War. There we go. When we built the command economy, which worked. It worked. It's not because this isn't about left or right wing, but it worked. It did the job.
Yeah, we did have to rebuild, and it was that was a real physical job. Look at the state of London after the Second World War, and we won. And it needed rebuilding. But at the moment, what we've allowed to happen is the dismantling of our state from the inside out. We've allowed the lefties, the Marxists and the woke to take over, and we just sat back and let it happen. I don't think anybody realises that, if you rely on democracy and people undermine your democracy, you're pretty well effed up, and that's what's been going on, as far as I'm concerned. And as Spaceman says, Jeff, be honest, chaos is sooner than we all realise. Yeah, it could well be. Unless, of course, we've got some people in the establishment, maybe among the judiciary, who are recognising that this is where we're going unless we force the hand of government to change course. They've gone along with it, trying to, we've got to change course to being lefties and softies and all the rest of it. Now we're finding out that it's really beginning to hurt the nation, and it's already caused hundreds of thousands of our young girls to suffer at the hands of others, hasn't it? And
that's for the sake of diversity.
That should have been enough.
That's diversity.
Yeah, but that should have been enough to stop it all. But it wasn't, was it?
No.
Some people have estimated 250,000. 250,000. Even if it was just 1,000.
I'm sorry, Jeff, you're wrong
goes,
there.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
I saw an estimate of 750,000.
Well, there you go, 750,000. So if you got 700, what you're talking about, girls?
Yes.
Right. So if it's that many, what on earth are we doing? What are we doing? We just sat back and let it happen, and then watched as the courts ruled against the girls for being liars or whatever, and that it's all their fault. The government was, officials were saying it's all their fault. I'm sorry, we should have stopped it then, but we weren't listening, or a lot of people weren't listening. So well, never mind. Thank you very much, Wisdom Nuggets Tidbits, for your super sticker. Thank you very much. Yeah, so, someone says it's punishment for daring to ask for a Brexit, I would call it, says FPV Angel. Yeah, but
this predates that.
Like,
it predates what's been going on. It's been going on for a long time. But I know where you're coming from. It does feel like this country has been punished for Brexit, and in fact the left are punishing the entire nation for voting for Brexit. That's what it feels like at times. Yeah, actually, I mean, this is a good statement. I bet the elites are amazed, says Anna Capslocarian, at how little was done in reaction to what has been happening. Yeah, very good.
We just sat back like a bunch of rag dolls, and just as this happened. A few people have been standing up, but as soon as they stood up, they were shut down, weren't they? So now people are coming out, and we've actually got, so it's a small victory today, still a victory, but it's got to be carried through across the country. All the other councils have got to learn from this, and the people who live in those areas have got to be onto their councils to get this done, to get these things done. And then maybe we can turn it round. Maybe when they find out, well, we can't, where are we going to put these people? They're still turning up. Where are we going to put these people? They might start listening.
Well, one suggestion was pretty good that I read just now, and that's Buckingham Palace.
Actually,
or Balmoral.
Believe it or not.
Balmoral.
Yeah.
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 Nice
Buckingham Palace is being refurbished at the moment. And that means it's probably not up to standard. It won't be up to the full standard yet of what people have come to expect. I mean, if it's not good enough for the royalty, then it definitely won't be good enough for that. You know that.
Yes, I've got a funny feeling there'll be a very new in the refurb of Buckingham Palace. There'll be a new place of worship placed as well. And I can't think of why I'm saying that, and I can't think of what type of worship would be conducted in that place. And other than satanic rituals, knowing the anyway, that's another story entirely.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking up something that someone's put in the comments section, and I don't know what it's about. So bear with me while I just.
Okay, this is Jeff doing his technical bit. It's rather impressive to watch. That's the face of a man whose brain is whirring.
To watch.
That's the face of a man whose brain is whirring around right now. No, but
sorry,
I'm a happy chap today.
Yeah, I would have to look this one up. It's a court case called Ashby v. White in 1703, a foundational case in UK constitutional law and English tort law concerning the right to vote and misfeasance of a public officer. I'll have to look into that one and find out what the repercussions, ramifications, etc. of that one are. I don't remember studying that one, but there you go.
Just a sec, Jeff. There's one. I'm just going to read this out just before you do anything at all. You just got rid of it. Never mind. It was a good comment, that last one was about the Falklands, and indeed, Jeff did fight in the Falklands himself. Yeah, we have a bit of a hero on our hands here. He was a long time ago, mate. But
no, not a hero. Definitely not a hero.
Yeah,
here's a hero. Tommy told everyone years ago. So
yes, he did. He did.
Yeah, and he's been doing it ever since, and he's the one that's been getting all the flack for it. Oh, look, he's pointing out the truth. Let's give him more flack. Let's put him in prison. Shut him up. Yeah. Chris Johnson says, if asylum seekers' accommodation is in short supply, then house them in tents in the middle of nowhere behind 20-foot high walls. Problem solved, and might deter more of them from invading the country.
South Georgia.
South Georgia. If the French can leave them on the beaches, I'm sorry, but what?
Yeah, well, it's like Churchill. Churchill said we'll fight them on the beaches. We say we leave them on the beaches.
Actually, we put red carpets out on the beaches these days.
Yes, we'll put red carpets on the beaches. Yes.
Yeah, we need to return to God, says G, 1872.
Yep.
I'm not racist. I've got black nieces and nephews. This ain't about racism. It's about ideology. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are not fitting in.
My son's mixed race, I people say, well, I just hate this racism thing. It's just nonsense. People say you're racist when you're not. It's just stupid. Utterly stupid. Make paint great again. That's a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as Bonnie Scott says, where will they put them now? Well, they'll just ship them. What will happen is if it looks like they're going to lose the appeal, that's the first thing. So they'll go to appeal, probably in the next few days. The appeal with the courts. We heard all about the courts having massive backlogs, haven't we? Massive backlogs in the courts, years to get a court case through. They'll hear this in the appeal court very shortly, be in no doubt. This will be into the appeal court in order to get it overturned so they can keep using the hotel. But if they lose it, a load of buses will appear from nowhere in the middle of the night at some stage or other and ship them out, and we won't know where they've gone. They'll just go elsewhere. And they're probably already on the phone to loads of people trying to get hotels all bought up in another area to take them just in case. But what surprises me is that I'd heard about a year ago that they always had 5,000 hotel rooms in reserve, empty, waiting to go. Now, if that's no longer the case, what's happening? I thought we were having fewer hotel rooms. Oh, are they lying to us?
Don't be daft, Jeff. Don't be daft. They wouldn't lie. No.
Of course they wouldn't. We know they wouldn't lie. They'd never think of it. Yes, they say. Yeah, and we would have to follow the buses. Yeah. Although I think you'd probably be stopped from doing that as well. I just... Overall, this is a good result for us, I suppose, for the ordinary British taxpayer. But it does force their hand a bit on the other side. But we've seen the sorts of stuff they get up to. I don't know what to think of now. According to Peter Pickle, there's 55 secrets, 8 houses of multiple occupancy in Portsmouth. May well be. They may well be. And I've heard stories that they're buying up streets in various places. The trouble is that because they're having to do all this in secret to stop the spotlight coming on it and us finding out the scale of all this, that it does generate stories. And so, yeah. Thank you very much, Lynette Carter. Brilliant work yet again, lads. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So... Yes, soon run out of hotel rooms. Well, this is the thing. The more protests that go on and the larger they get, the more pressure it places on government to get them out of the hotels. And I don't think there are enough houses around. I could actually see them. Do you remember? Well, a lot of you won't remember, but after the Second World War, they repurposed the old tin Nissen huts. They were sort of curved like that. Yeah. They got those, brick front, brick back, with little windows, and they made them into homes for families to live in. And where I lived, there was one of these in the local town. It was quite a large area filled with these things, but everyone was happy. They lived in them. And I could see towns of Nissen huts springing up everywhere in Britain.
Didn't they have asbestos roofs though? I can't remember if they had asbestos roofs.
Yeah, no, but you wouldn't build them with asbestos now, would you? Or would you?
Wouldn't
No,
you?
you wouldn't do that.
No.
Oh dear. How do they get food? I don't know. At the moment, they deliver it. They must be getting a lot of food because they're delivering it as well.
Yes, they're preparing it on site from what I remember.
Yeah, we did a video on this one, didn't we? When Keir Starmer said there were lots of houses. What he did was he was at a committee meeting in Westminster, one of these things where they all sit around and jaw all day. And he said, when they were talking about the homeless, he was saying, we're trying to get money for the homeless so we can get them housed. It's coming together, but it's going to be a long job. And then someone brought up, said, well, actually, they're competing with the asylum seekers for the same housing supply. And he said, but there's loads of housing in councils for asylum seekers. He actually tried to convince people that there were no houses at 1 minute and then there's loads the next. The man is a complete charlatan. I don't know how he won any court cases. I really don't.
Well, under his watch, a certain notorious individual who was a radio DJ didn't get prosecuted. Apparently, it didn't cross his desk. It didn't cross his desk, apparently. Oh, okay. There we go.
Yes. And as Dabble a bit says, as my nan would say, God rest her soul, they can't move their lips without lying. No, they can't. If they're blinking, they're lying, actually. Yeah. Yeah, someone was arrested for shouting about they like bacon. I don't know the full story or whether it was carried through, but they were carted off for shouting about bacon near an asylum hotel, I believe. May have got that wrong. It's something along those lines anyway. And I just looked at it, I thought, here we go. It's all right to go around, chasing the girls, as it were, you know what I mean? But not that. I mean, it's just pathetic, isn't it? We really have lost the plot.
The comments here, they're evicting, Peter Pickle, H5C. They're evicting tenants to house migrants, according to the estate agents in Portsmouth. I did see something on GB News where a woman and her children were evicted from a house. I can't remember where it was exactly. And the landlord then did a few little alterations to the house to make it a house for multiple occupancy. And even the migrant there, I actually watched an interview with the migrant who was I think it was Ben Leo was interviewing him. And, even he seemed a little bit, a little bit concerned by the fact that a family were thrown out. And, it is what it is, but even he seemed a little concerned on that. And it's awful. It's awful. If they're throwing out families. I mean, at the end of the day, look, if you're a landlord, you're guaranteed 5 years rent, okay? And potentially for more money, okay? What are you going to do if your house is falling behind? You've got tenants falling behind on payments. This is all part of a larger scheme to replace.
It's quite funny though.
Yes, I'm not going to go too much into detail.
If you remember, the government. There's two ways of evicting someone at the moment. It's if they fall behind with rent or damage the property or anything like that, they can be evicted with a court order. If you give people under Section 21 a couple of months' notice, you can evict them on a no-fault basis. It's not their fault. You want to do something with your house. This is the thing, this no-fault eviction is the thing that Labour want to stop, don't they? Do you remember the homelessness minister? Yeah, she was pushing that forward. She's now resigned. Do you remember that? Because she, as far as I understand it, did a Section 21 on someone who lived in her house because and because she said she wanted to do something with it. And the next thing we know, the rent had gone up by 20% or something, and it was back on the market. Now, what the Labour government says it's trying to do is get rid of Section 21 evictions. Now, that would actually put the stoppers on landlords doing exactly that. No fault eviction, repurposing it as a house of multiple occupancy to make a lot more money from the government, who will do it all the work for you and then pay you at the end to refurbish the place. And that would put a stop on it.
Tax breaks in there as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there'll be all sorts.
A good comment here from Jerry6612. All those refugees welcome here lot can take them into their homes. I think that's a wonderful idea. I think it's a great idea. Yes, let them take them into their homes and just see how it goes. Yeah.
Now, one of the arguments used to say that we need all these people here is that the birth rate is low. And Hal Bird 1 says, why is the birth rate down? How can you afford kids when you have to pay a super high taxes to house and food for illegals to come in and have kids on your money? Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's worse than that. You can't, even if they weren't here, you couldn't afford it anyway, because house prices were so high, rent was so high, and food prices were going up and all the rest of it. And it made it almost impossible to be able to afford to have children. People who want children can't afford it. So, and then they say, because you can't afford it, you must, in accordance with the UN 2000 replacement migration program, start importing people from other places who've got too many. Oh, it does exist. That report does exist. You Google it. Yeah. And it says if you've got too few births and your population is aging, the best thing you could do is import people from abroad. What they don't say is have more babies, put family-friendly policies in place, make housing cheaper so that people can start families. That's the sort of thing we need to be doing. So, anyway, that's another thing. And if we did have a growing population of our own, we wouldn't have room for anyone else, would we? Yes, and these are actually non-crime hate incidents. So it's not a non-hate crime, it's a non-crime hate thought crimes. What did it come to this country? I mean, yeah, it's with all of this lot going on, all this wokery going on, we really are. What are we doing to ourselves? Why are we allowing it? Why do we keep voting for the same old people? I tell you what, the Tories have just been trounced. They've just been thrown out. They're not coming back. Labour are about to be thrown out. They're trounced. They're not coming back either. What worries me is if we replace them with two parties that instead of doing things differently, just move in and take over that ground. So you still end up with a red-blue sort of thing going on, but nothing changes. That's what really worries me. And we have to be careful of that. Because at the moment, the two parties that are going up are the Reform UK and the Lib Dems.
Yeah.
So just think, if Reform UK take over from the Tories, Lib Dems take over from Labour, I worry whether things will actually change. I'm hoping they will. I'm hoping Farage proves me comprehensively wrong. Because if he's going to end up as PM, he needs to stick by and make this work.
Oh, yes. But as I said earlier, was it today or in a previous video? I can't remember. Yeah. I'm too tired. If he doesn't deliver, he will be the most hated politician, prime minister in history. Even more so than Starmer. If he doesn't deliver, he has to deliver. And if he, is it a word? If he abdicates from the throne, if Farage abdicates and allows Mohammed Zia Youssef to be the next prime minister, I don't think people will be happy with that. And that's not a racist comment, incidentally. That's because of what happened to Rupert Lowe, to Ben Habib, to Howard Cox, and so many others. And also for what, I'm not going to go into any further.
Yeah, Peter Pickles says that civil unrest is the next step, I'm afraid. A lot of people are saying that. I don't want to see that, because if it gets out of hand, it will be, I think the word horrific will be too tame. GKSC says can't afford kids, not safe for kids. Now that's an important factor here, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't that an important factor?
Yes.
If you go back to my day, kids could go outside and play, and the kids will go out and play football and that no problem at all. There was nothing. But now it's like there seems to be an almost predatory atmosphere out there, doesn't there? Don't you think? It's awful. Teachers are pushing political lunacy on kids, says GKSC. Parents are financially punished for objecting to indoctrination of our kids. As we've said in the live stream earlier, kids are actually being told, aren't they? We've seen it, to send love letters, Valentine's cards to newcomers, aren't they? And then we hear via Robert Jenrick, the Shadow Justice Secretary, that in Epping, the parents he talked to, the parents were being told to not let their kids go past certain areas. So what does that mean? Because of these people. Because they were worried about them. The kids felt frightened. Don't go past them then. What? So you're going to send love letters to them but avoid them. These are the two messages that they're trying to push. It's like 1984 doublethink. What is going on in our schools? What is going on in our society?
No, it sounds like my ex-wife. Yes. Send a love letter to keep her sweet and then just avoid her.
Yes. As Hooperball says, politics has failed. Yes, that's the thing. If politics has failed in this country, our democracy has failed. And the signs are all there. Democracy is where the majority says what's going on. What we have in this country is a series of minorities telling the rest of us that we must comply with their wishes, whatever they may be. It's a series of minorities. There's about 5 tails on the dog, and the dog has to wag in accordance with what each of the tails wants, and it just gets worse and worse as another tail develops. And it's about time the dog turned around and had a bit of a snap at him. And we
politics. Of course, politics has failed. So many comments in this chat. I mean, we've talked about it for ages, but the comments keep coming up that things are going to snap and it's going to be civil war in this country. I hope not. I hope we just somehow get through this without that taking place, because that's not pretty. That's pretty much what we don't want. I think
not pretty.
And I have to say, Labour have to either call a general election very soon, or they have to start mass deportations of those who shouldn't be here. If they do not, I don't think the British public will take it any further. That's it. It'll be done. It'll be a done deal. And that's a hideous thought.
Yeah.
Hideous. Again, comments, yes, civil war is inevitable. Yeah, well, I hope not. But yeah, it's looking that way.
Yeah. As Madman UK one says, Trump, please put tariffs on Starmer's government. We can handle the pain till we get our country back.
Yes.
As a country, we are coming under fire from the American regime, establishment, whatever you want to call it. The administration is the right word, for lack of freedom of expression. Us, the Brits. Our speech is being controlled more and more every single year. There are more things we can't say. And when they bring in when they bring in this Islamophobia definition, all bets are off, because you won't be able to criticize anything a certain demographic does. You just won't be able to do it. Everything they do will be deemed as okay, and if you moan about it, I was talking to, I don't know whether I mentioned, I was talking to someone the other day, and I said, would standing in an election against one of them be deemed as Islamophobic?
That's a good...
You can see that coming, can't you?
Yeah, that's a very good point, Jeff.
Why are you standing against me? You must be Islamophobic. You know,
I think I think the introduction of the Islamophobia definition and law, I think that might be the straw that will break the camel's back. I think that alone might be a push too far for most people, because of what it'll mean. Yeah, that's a good comment there. We are witnessing world communism taking over. Yes, it's not just in the United Kingdom. We're seeing
it's not.
a complete the complete destruction of Western civilization and its values, and the abandonment of our Judeo-Christian heritage. This is taking place everywhere. Yeah, New World Order. Yeah, well, it sounds. This is something that a lot of people said, "Oh, that's conspiracy theory." Yeah, so many speeches by global leaders were referencing and mentioning the New World Order, a New World Order, and you think, okay, so they're talking about it. It must be something.
No, you're right. The if you look at it, in fact, there's some very good evidence out there that the United Nations has been pushing through treaties, and our governments have just been, if it's a UN thing, it must be good. They've been signing up to these treaties, whether they're binding or not. And the latest one is this pandemic treaty, and they didn't win. The UN didn't win everything they wanted in that, so they're doing it again. It's just like the European Union. If you don't get it right first time, you just try in a different way to get the same thing done. And it's being done. And we don't have, as citizens in this country, we have no say over this. We expect our governments to look after us. They're not. They're not looking after us. On the international stage, they're signing stuff away. They're just saying, yeah, it won't worry me. In fact, if I sign this up, I might get a position. I might become the UN. What's the head of the UN called? Might become the head of the UN, or the head of the World Health Organization.
Secretary General, is it?
Something.
United Nations
Secretary General. Or I could become the head of NATO or something. They're all. This is the sort of thing that goes on. They don't care about the country. They don't care about it. And then,
there's
to cap it all, I'll just say this, to cap it all, there is someone who hands out honours every year, or it's done in their name, and everybody wants one. And they know that he's a woke lefty. So if they do lots of woke lefty stuff, maybe they'll get a knighthood as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would, anybody who's been made a lord or a sir, I'm sorry, that needs to be removed. The whole honours system needs to go. It's rubbish. It's nepotism. That's all it is. It's nonsense. That's a nonsense. Okay, you get one or two of what I would call token decent appointments, just to legitimise the whole thing. But the majority of it's just full of bottom feeders, literally. And there was one comment here. Is it Gorg 1961? Was it Garg 1961? Starmer is a traitor. Yeah, probably. As well as most of his government, as well as many of those in Parliament, as well as across the benches, as well as His Majesty the King. I believe that his actions are no longer the actions of a monarch who loves his country. Far from it.
No, I think he's like Keir Starmer. He prefers Davos and the World Economic Forum, the way they do things. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The World Economic Forum is a big program to get the big corporations and government to work together to make your life better. Really. The person who makes my life better is the person who stays out of my life, allows me to get on, allows me to make decisions for myself, right or wrong, and allows me to profit from what I do, allows me to lose when I make mistakes. You know, that's what all humans need. And they need a family around them, and they need a proper society around them. A cohesive society, not something, not someone coming along and saying, you are going to have to live with these people now, and that's the end of it. And if you don't, you're a racist. You know, but they have totally different beliefs to me, but I have to put up with it and tolerate it and watch the destruction go on around me. No, that's not right at all. You try that going into Saudi, for example. Can you imagine us turning up in Saudi saying, right, that's it. It's all going to change. No more of this sword executions and all the rest. We're not having any more of that. You'd end up in the same place, you know. No, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. These people are here illegally. We're sort of making excuses for them. Where should we go? How should we house them? What can we do? They're here illegally. They need to go.
Yeah.
You're an illegal entrant. You've broken the law. As soon as you set foot on this, in fact, you're being rewarded for breaking the law. Yeah. That's what's happening. And it's the same with shoplifting now. You're effectively being rewarded by not being dealt with. It's a reward. And what was it shopkeepers are being told now by the police? Don't keep valuable items at the front of your shop by the windows. Like, they're usually the big ticket items that stores want to try and sell. Now you've got to keep them in the back of the shop. It's like, what? What? Shut! This country's absolutely effed.
Yeah. You've got to get all your expensive stuff and put it in a shelf where no one can see it. So everybody just thinks you're selling tat. And you must never show anyone that you've got any expensive stuff to sell because they might steal it. Now, a lot of people were probably thinking that what will happen is that gradually the stores will resort back to the old days. You remember when you used to go into the shop, I'll have a can of beans, and the guy would get a can of beans, put it on the counter, something else, and then you pay, and then gives you the food, and you put it in your bag and off you toddle. With today's shoplifters, it's a case of they'll just vault over the desk, the bit, take what they want, vault back over and walk out. And if you try and stop them, barriers up, if you try and stop them, you're in the poo. Ooh. Definitely in the poo. It's all part of a big wealth. It's part of the wealth redistribution of the country from the people who have to the people who not have nots, but just want to do it for nothing, want it for nothing. And then if they put barriers up, the poor person who then pays for their food and walks out the door will be met by someone who'll just snatch it off of them and walk off. Unless we start punishing these people hard, nothing will change. and even if we went just for home deliveries, do you not think the delivery trucks would start coming under attack? The delivery truck stops.
Stand and deliver.
Yeah, exactly. We got, bring back the, yes.
Yes.
Where did they do all those big hangings? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Tyburn.
Actually, speaking of hanging, there's I don't know why it's just cropped into my head, but there's a great pub as well, which is worth visiting, not far from Abergavenny, called the Skirrid Inn. I believe it may be one of the oldest pubs in Wales, and it's a fantastic. There's a lot of hangings took place there. And Most Haunted, that program, which I think is a load of SHI, you know what, did a few things there, I believe. But no, check out the Skirrid Inn. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
I was right, Tyburn. Yeah, that's where they used to mete out justice swiftly. Yeah. Yes, I hope this is true, Jack. Yes, I hope this is true.
Well, it just goes to prove, though, doesn't it, that the demonstration does have an impact. That's the thing. This is the proof. The proof's in the pudding. People demonstrating, getting very angry, shouting, and standing up for their community works. And one of the questions that was posed earlier: what happens if they're no longer in the hotels and they're spread out amongst the community? I'm sure people will start banding together in the community and saying, "Right, you lot out." That'll happen as well. We don't want them in the houses. That'll start happening if it hasn't already happened. It'll be, people. There'll be organisations formed, local groups, not militias, but local groups of protesters, who will band together and say, right, okay, so number 22 in Florence Street is being used, and there's been some reports of antisocial behaviour. So I'm assuming, and the police aren't doing anything about it. So I'm assuming then that's what these sort of groups will do. They will just turn up and they'll start protesting, not violence, not just voicing doing what's legally their right, and that's objecting with a protest, and that's it. It works.
Well,
it's worked.
We covered the Safeguard, didn't we? Was it Safeguard down in Bournemouth? Yeah, they're out doing just doing patrols and just being there to give people a bit of comfort and security. But if the police can't do it, and isn't it strange that when that started, why didn't the police just offer them all positions as special constables? Come and train as a special constable, because they do it for no money. Special constables. Makes you wonder. Are you sure?
I think some special constables are paid. I think there is. I think they do get paid. Yeah. I'm
not sure about that. Actually, I thought it was.
Oh,
well, I'll have to look into that.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Anyway, as Cobra Gaming says, we'll have to phone in advance to do shopping to get what you want, and be met with a shop assistant with 2 military officers at this rate. Yeah, it's. If you want to go into a real high-end store or go in and get something made by a goldsmith or something, you have to go through a bit of a security to get to them. That's going to be where we're going. If you want some steak or a bottle of whiskey or something, I can see that coming. And you'll have to be careful, Jeff, when you leave that shop. Sorry?
You're absolutely correct, Jeff. Special constables don't get paid as such, but they do get expenses. So,
yeah. Which is fair enough. Yeah, but gallows. I mean,
why even special constables? Why can't we just start recruiting policemen? But then again, as soon as you become a policeman, a special constable, you're subject to the same rules and regulations.
Wokery.
So what's the point? Yeah. Maybe the police have got a good point by saying by not assimilating the what was it called, Safeguard? Is it? Assimilating them in. Maybe many of the police think, well, if we don't assimilate them as such, they'll probably be able to do a better job than we are. That could be the,
Yeah. I mean, when you have 80,000 phones stolen in London, you've just got to say, this is just part and parcel of living in a modern city, isn't it? Now, I've heard that people who go to places like Singapore, they could leave their wallet on the side and they could come back the next day and it'll still be there. It's don't know how true that is, but oh God. Yes,
Actually, go on.
Yeah, go on.
Well, I spoke to a friend of mine yesterday, George. Thank you, George. And he'd been out to his son's wedding, and he said that he went to Sweden for his son's wedding, and part of the part of Sweden that he was at, he said it was just there was no issues at all. We do know that there are very bad issues in parts of Sweden, like really bad, but he was lucky, and he said he couldn't believe it. So there are parts of the country which are not sort of engorged with these issues. I live in an area myself which is not seeing any of these issues in particular, not yet anyway. There are rumours that it could very well be seeing very bad issues coming, but they're just rumours at this moment in time. So it's interesting to see how this is spread out across geographies, different land areas where you have concentrated masses of people who are not welcome to many locals, who of course are far right, but and then there's areas which are just not touched whatsoever. And it's funny, a lot of the people who are protesting and saying refugees welcome here come from or live in areas which are not touched by the issues that some of these people bring. And this is not, again, it's not racist, just this whole racism thing. I'm getting sick and tired of it. I get sick and tired of saying, explaining myself being, that, yeah, I'm half Iranian. I'm the son of a migrant myself, and then people go, oh, but, like, oh, just shut up, go away. Jeff, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. I've just unmuted myself. As that preacher I talked to the other day said, Pastor Chris, forgotten his name now. He said that he referred to the Old Testament and said that in there it's quite explicit that people who come to your land should fit in, obey all the laws. And that if the numbers get too high of people coming in, then it is a curse upon the land. And that's what's happening to us right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's racist, far right. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I think we wizarded on enough about this tonight.
We're both very,
thank you very much for listening,
tonight.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yes,
thanks very much for watching.
Two old, tired gentlemen, but we've had some great news today, so it's something to celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, thank you for watching. And if you liked this video, please press the like button. I know it's incredibly tempting for you to do so. Go on, I dare you, press the like button. Go on. And if you really enjoyed it, then press the subscribe button. Oof, I say, because most of you watching this are not subscribed, so just do it, will you? For goodness sake, get on with it. And then click the bell, which allows says all, so you get a notification each time we put up a new video. And if you really, really, really like us, become a channel member. On YouTube, there's a button that you can access via your Android device. Unfortunately, not on iOS devices, and via desktops and laptops. Become a member. And thank you to all of you who also help support us on PayPal and Patreon. You make a difference. All of you make a difference to try and keep this thing going, so we can just get out and do what we do. We do our best.
Yes. And on that note, I shall say it's goodbye from me.
And it's most certainly a goodbye from him. Goodbye.
Goodbye.